Hi everybody and welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at the Requiem, I think it's Requiem RDA by Vandy Vape and El Vapeador. He's another reviewer here on YouTube. He has a thing about mouth to lung and single coils, and this is right up his alley. It really is. So he actually designed this or created it, and then Vandy Vape manufactured it. It is a single coil RDA. It's a 22 millimeter RDA, but they do give you a beauty ring to make it a 24 millimeter RDA if you like it just a little bit bigger. As it is right now with the beauty ring, it is 24 millimeters in size. Now, they do come also with a total of 3 top caps with different airflows. I've got one on currently and then 2 others. Now again, single coil, so this is definitely something up his alley. But let's go ahead and go down. We're gonna build on it. We're gonna talk on it. I'm gonna show you everything that it comes with. And then we're gonna come back up. We're gonna vape on it and pros and cons. So let's go ahead and go down with the Requiem RDA. Okay, so here we are with the Requiem RDA. This is actually a collaboration between Vandy Vape and it was created by El Vapeador. This is the box that it comes in. It's got Vandy Vape here. We've got a little bit of information there, created by him. And then of course your product inclusions right there. Opening up the box, you can see that you're gonna get the RDA base. You're gonna get the chimney section or the barrel. You're gonna get a beauty ring and you're gonna get 3 different top caps. In addition to that, you're gonna get all the colors that they actually have it in. They have it in stainless steel, gold, gunmetal, brushed stainless, and black. You're going to get your user manual or instruction manual. It's actually more of a pamphlet with different languages. You're going to get 2 coils. They are 2.5 millimeter inner diameter coils, and these are fused Claptons. That's what those look like. They're really, really small. And then you're going to get this baggie of goodies. This is going to have your squonk pin. It's going to have a screwdriver. It's going to have a coil tool as well as 2 extra screws and some O-rings. And then, of course, the stars of the show. So here you're going to get the single coil deck. You're going to get the beauty ring to make this a 24 millimeter atomizer. Currently, in the current state, it is a 22 millimeter, so you would need the beauty ring for it to be 24. You're going to get the barrel section right there. And then you're going to get 3 different airflow top cap options, and these are all made out of Ultim. So you're going to have your widest airflow right here, then you're going to have your restrictive direct lung airflow right here, and then this is going to be more of like a loose mouth to lung type of airflow here. So where you actually see the airflow is if you actually look right here. This is going to be your airflow hole right there. And then underneath, this one actually just has 1 hole, if you can see it, just the 1 airflow hole. Now the restrictive direct lung, this one here, the hole is right here. And then inside, it's actually got 2 holes. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if you can. This one has 2 holes. So you have 1 hole there and 1 hole here. So you actually have 2 airflow holes. And then, of course, you've got the open airflow or the full direct lung airflow, which has the airflow here. And then it's fully wide open right there. Now, this is a single coil deck. It does hold, the biggest coil that is recommended for this deck is a 2.5 inner diameter. If you go 3 millimeters, it's going to be a little bit too big, and it can damage the Ultim, because Ultim is a little bit more less durable than like stainless steel and metals and things like that. So you want to be really, really careful. So they do recommend nothing bigger than 2.5 millimeter inner diameter coil for this. Now on here, you're going to see a couple things. You're going to see like a little groove here and a little groove here. That's actually for your coil placement tool. So when you go to put in the coil, you can actually put it centered right here. Using whether the coil tool that they provide or your own, it'll keep it nice and centered, and it's got that little groove. This also works to be a locking mechanism. So each of the top caps actually have like this locking notch on them, which locks into place on each one of the decks, as you can see. So once you have the barrel on here, these are going to lock into place so that you won't be able to change the airflow, but you will be able to move the barrel around to actually reduce the airflow if you need to. Now, this can also be used for squonking. If you want to squonk it, then what you're going to do is go ahead and take out the 510 pin and we can put in the squonk pin. But let's go ahead and look at the bottom. So currently it does have the standard 510 pin in it. It does say created by El Mono Vapeador, and it does say manufactured by Vandy Vape. So let's go ahead and remove that pin because we are going to make this squonking. Because it's a small single coil, personally, I think it's made better for squonking because of the way that, you know, the size that it is. I think it would actually be more helpful as a squonking RDA. In order to move the regular pin, we do need to go ahead and remove this. So I'm just going to get my flathead screwdriver. I'm going to unscrew the pin just like this. I'm going to take that out. Okay, take out that pin, and then we have to take this one out now. And just loosen that up. Now, when you do loosen this up to take it out, it is going to loosen the positive post. Make sure that you place that back in there. There you go, set that back in. Take your squonk pin, put that in there. And now it does need an Allen key, but they didn't provide one. I do have my own, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. So that's nice and tight. So there we go. Now we can go ahead and start building on this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on a mod. And again, this is just a single coil RDA. Okay, so let's go ahead and loosen up our post screws. Go on here. Making sure that we have enough room to fit our leg right under there. And then open up the other one. Let's go ahead and get our coils that were provided. Now you can make your own round wire coils as well, if you want to use a round wire coil instead, or you can use the one that they provide. This is the one that they provided right here. So I'm going to do is just go ahead and put it down like this. And right there and right here. And that's pretty much centered. But just to make sure, what you can do is use that same tool that they provided. And you can hold it in place like this with that tool that they provided, and then just screw down your legs. There's one. And then we'll go ahead and put the other. Okay, then we can go ahead and remove that, and that just keeps it in place for you so that you know that it's perfectly centered. That's what it looks like from the side. We're just going to go ahead and cut the legs. Now, it does have enough space for you to actually leave it open a little bit. So if you don't get it exact, it's okay. Not like a lot of other ones, but I like to try to be as exact as possible. And as close as possible. And I do have this on the top side light. I'm just going to go ahead and heat that up a little bit. Okay, and there we go. We've got it glowing nice and even from the inside out. Now all we need to do is just wick this up. So for today's cotton, as always, I'm going to be using my Kendo Vape Cotton Gold Edition. This is just my favorite cotton that I use. Okay, and then just take one end, put it in there. There we go. Now, what the best thing to do, especially with small coils when you're trying to get the cotton through, is to pull from both ends. It actually thins out the middle of the cotton. So if you do that, it makes it a little bit easier to bring it through. And it doesn't damage your coil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this right at the end. Now if you notice, there's a couple things that I wanted to point out. This right here is going to be your wicking channel. It is kind of small, so you want to make sure that you don't have way too much cotton, which is another reason why you don't want too big of a coil. And the next thing is going to be these areas right here. These are actually like sleds. I actually did a review for Jay Hayes's RDA, and it was just like that. It had that sled action working. So when you're squonking, it's actually going to come up and come through those and then slide right back down to be fed back in, which I think is a great idea and a great concept. So I'm just going to cut the cotton right at the end of the deck on both sides. There we go. And I do like to fluff out my ends. That's just the way that I am. I know people get tired of it, but it's okay. That's what I do. Because I like it nice and fluffy, because at the ends, if it's nice and wispy, it actually soaks up the e-liquid a little bit faster. At least as far as I've seen. Personal experience, at least. Then you're just going to take these and just put it right there in that wicking channel. Really, really simple. Do the same thing for this side. Just fluff it out on the ends. Make it nice and wispy. Cut off any excess. And then just put that right back in there. There we go. It's that easy. It's a really, really easy RDA. The biggest part of this that you have to remember is that the coil really can't be that big. On the screen, it looks really huge. In person, it's not. I promise you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the barrel, because you don't have to have the tops on to put on the barrel. I'm going to put on the barrel first so that you can actually see it squonking, and that way it won't come out. Now I'm going to squonk first with the barrel off so that you can see it come through. And you can see it going into those sleds that I was talking about. You see it? And then it pulls right back in. It squonks really, really nice. Really, really like it. I'm just going to go ahead and put my barrel on. Okay, now the barrel's on. Now I'm going to go ahead and squonk. And you don't have to worry about over dripping, because the top caps, the airflow top caps, are actually so high that it's not really going to be able to come out, but you don't want it too high. But you can literally squonk this all the way to the coil so that the coil can get nice and saturated. And I love the fact that the excess e-liquid will be sucked right back into the bottle. And all this cotton is already saturated right there. It's all saturated. There you go. Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and put on the top cap now. Now this does have the locking feature right there that's going to lock into the deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the airflow. That's the side that's actually going to go right here. So I'm going to put the airflow right there. I'm going to bring it down. And we're going to lock it into place. Move that. Go. And it's all locked into place. So now it's not going to move anywhere. And that's how it looks without the cotton. So that's it. That's how it looks. Really, really nice. It looks great on this, the top side light. So that is our RDA. I do have the biggest airflow on, but I'm going to be testing out all three of them with you on top, so that you can see how they vape. So let's go ahead and go on top, and we'll take a look at the Requiem RDA by Vandy Vape and El Mono Vapeador. Okay, so here we are back on top with Requiem RDA. I do currently have it with the biggest airflow. So before anything, let's go ahead and have a vape, and then we'll try out the other two. For a single coil that is a 2.5 inner diameter coil, I was very, very impressed. Absolutely amazing, amazing flavor. And let's go ahead and change it out to the restrictive direct lung. And I'm only vaping this at 41 watts, by the way. Just saying. Let's go ahead and put this one in. Okay, so now I have the restrictive direct lung on it. This was actually the first one. So let's go ahead and have a vape with this one. I don't feel it being too much more restrictive. The biggest difference that I feel between this one and this one, to be honest with you, is the size of the drip tip. This one, I really like the size of it better, but this one I'm getting just as great flavor, and I'm getting a lot of airflow as well. So if you like it a little bit smaller, You're going to like that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the mouth to lung, or what they call the mouth to lung one. Okay, so now we have the mouth to lung top cap on. Turning down the airflow for this one. Now let's do the mouth to lung one. I have to tell you, it works mouth to lung. Now it's a little bit loose of a mouth to lung, but it is a mouth to lung. More so than a direct lung, a restrictive direct lung. In my opinion, it's definitely more of a loose mouth to lung. Definitely for those of you out there that want like a mouth to lung type of single coil RDA, this is probably going to be the best top cap for you. Now, I will tell you personally, I like the flavor with the other two caps better. That's just my personal experience. And this juice is like really flavorful. So personally, my favorite one is actually the one with the wide open airflow. That's just my preference. That's what I like. If you like a more restrictive vape, I would definitely suggest the mouth to lung one. If you like mouth to lung vaping or mouth to lung RDA or RTA or something like that, I would definitely recommend that one, especially even with squonking, which I think is amazing that you can actually have a squonking RDA that's mouth to lung. I don't know of too many out there that do that it's a true mouth to lung. Now it's a little bit loose, but not by much. It's more restrictive than you would think. Now with the medium one, it doesn't, or the restrictive direct lung, that's what they're calling it. To me, I still feel like I get a lot of airflow. I don't feel like it's too restrictive. I think it's in par with this one. And if you want to cut down the airflow on any of them a little bit more, which I don't personally want to or need to, all you have to do is turn this this barrel. Now to turn it, I'm gonna tell you, it is, especially, I mean, I've already cleaned it, I've already been through it and everything else and vaped on it and tested it, and it's still very tight. I've even tried to lube up the O-rings and things, but it's really tight. So I think that they really prefer you to use it the way that it is, but if you want to, you can move the barrel and adjust the airflow. Now for me, I do like it better with the beauty ring on it because I do like 24 millimeter addies the best. That's just the way that I vape. That's my preferred. As a 22 millimeter, it doesn't look bad on this as well. So if you like 22 millimeters, you're more than welcome to do that. I do prefer this for squonking rather than dripping for a couple reasons. Number one, taking off the top caps to just change out the airflows is hard enough. So when you're dripping, you usually, now with the big barrel one, you don't have to worry about this for the direct lung. You can literally drip down the drip tip. But for the other two, it's so narrow that if you're trying to drip down the drip tip, you're going to get it possibly on you're going to get it on the drip tip, the liquid, and then you're going to have to clean it up. To take off the caps is a little bit snug. So to take it off to drip, and that, I just don't see it being a dripping RDA. I definitely feel like this will thrive as being a squonking RDA. And I always categorize all my RDAs as squonking or dripping. I never have one that I like for both. I always have one either for squonking or for dripping. That's just my preference. This for sure, especially on this setup here, is definitely a squonking RDA for me. It's got that amazing flavor, and this e-liquid that I have in here is amazing. I'm telling you right now, very flavorful, and I'm tasting every single nuance. Now I will tell you, in my personal experience, being totally 100% transparent, with the mouth to lung top cap, I don't get as good flavor as I do with the other two top caps. That's just my experience. I mean, it could just be me, it could be the e-liquid, it could be my cotton, or whatever you want to call it, but that's just my honest feedback during my review and my testing. I just feel like the other two top caps just get a little bit better flavor. Now the flavor on this, it reminds me of the Gear RTA. If you're familiar with the Gear RTA, this reminds me of that in flavor. So I don't know what else to really say about that. I would love to know your opinion down below. I already showed you the 5 different colors that it comes in. It came on that card, so I'm not going to go ahead and put them up on top because you've already seen them. For me, it's a little bit shorter than I'm used to, but I really like this as a squonking RDA. I didn't think that I would, being that it's such a small little single coil, like it's not even a 3 millimeter inner diameter coil, but it works so well. It really does. Right on the inhale, I'm getting direct flavor. It's just an amazing art. And look at all that cloud production for a single coil, small little single coil RDA. Absolutely loving it. I think they really hit it out of the park with this. I love the fact that it comes with all the different options for you. The only cons that I have to this are just a couple. And the first one's going to be they didn't give you the Allen key, which that to me is definitely a con, because if you're going to take this apart to change out to a squonk pin, if you don't already have an RDA that had an Allen key before, you might not have an Allen key to go ahead and switch that out. So I really feel like they should have provided that for you. Another thing that I can think of right off the top of my head, and it's not really a con, it's just like maybe just like a suggestion or maybe just a pet peeve of mine, is that the O-ring tolerance on the actual barrel are so hard that if you do want to go ahead and twist it to try to change the airflow, it's really, really difficult. So I'm not a fan of like that personally. I mean, not that I need to change my airflow, because I think that the 3 options that they give you are perfect for what you need. I don't feel like you really need to adjust the airflow, to be totally honest with you, because if you want to adjust the airflow on this, use the restricted direct lung top cap. If you want it even lower, then just use the mouth to lung one. Unless for some reason you like the bigger bore and you want a mouth to lung, then you would go ahead and cut it down. But other than that, they already give you everything that you need for that. So that is pretty much it. Multiple options, easy to build on. I mean, super, you've seen how easy it is. It gives you everything that you need. It's got the lock in place top cap, which I really like. I appreciate that they kept that in there. And it also serves as being a place where you can actually line up your coil, which is another pro. So other than flavor, ease of build, the looks of it looks really good. I mean, not everybody's a fan of Ultim. Honestly, I'm not really a fan of Ultim. I would have loved this if it had like a white frosted type of top cap. I think that would have really freaking been sexy, but it's not bad looking. I thought that I wasn't going to like it as much as I really do. So testing it out and using it for a little while, I really fell in love with just the looks of it. Even with the red and black, I really like it. And as a matter of fact, I'm probably going to change my battery so it matches more. So if I do a different battery, maybe it'll match more. But anyway, so that's pretty much it for my review. Let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts on this RDA? Are you a mouth to lung vapor? If so, is this something that you're interested in? If you aren't a mouth to lung vapor, would you want to look into this? Because you don't have to be. You really don't have to be. It's so simple to use. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Congratulations to El Mono Vapeador and also Vandy Vape for creating this RDA. So that was the Requiem RDA, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out of here, and also the bell notification so that you're notified anytime that I upload a new video, and I will see you on the next one.